Welcome to Between the Lines of Crime. Tonight, we're going to travel back to the year 1990. But first, before we take this journey back to the cold, dark December night that Kathleen Harbison went missing, we need to understand the place she vanished into, Wayne County, Pennsylvania. Tucked into the northeastern corner of the state, where the Pocono Mountains blur into dense pine groves and frozen-over lakes. The winters here are long, bitter. The roads wind endlessly through the cold forest, and the silence, it lingers, it presses in. This is Salem Township, just outside the small town of Hamlin, Pennsylvania. It's rural, quiet, the kind of place where doors are left unlocked, where people know each other by name, but also the kind of place where, when something terrible happens, it echoes for years. This land has a history. In the 1800s, it was timber and ice. Men felled giant white pines and drank blocks of frozen water from Lake Wallenpaupack. Then the sawmills closed, the trains stopped coming. What was left were dark woods, deep lakes, and quiet roads that go on for miles without signs of life. Wayne County became a place of contrast, beautiful but bleak, peaceful but lonely. That tension between sanctuary and isolation can twist things, it can hide things. And in December of 1990, it became the setting for one of Pennsylvania's most chilling crimes. Kathleen Harbison was 22 years old, brown hair, warm smile, the kind of person who made you feel like you mattered just by sitting next to her. On the night of December 20th, 1990, Kathleen went out with her friend Sue Fritz to a local bar, Cousin's Restaurant and Bar, just off Route 590 in Hamlin. It was close to Christmas, snow covered the ground, the air was sharp with cold. At the bar, the two women met James Bellman and Michael Conforti, strangers but friendly, no red flags, at least, not yet. By 2 a.m., the night wound down. Kathleen left the bar first, stepping outside to warm up her car. Sue followed minutes later. But when Sue got outside, something was wrong. The car was still running, the heat was blasting, the radio was blaring, the driver's door was locked, the passenger door was unlocked. Kathleen's purse sat undisturbed on the seat, and Kathleen, she was gone. The Bellman's car was still nearby, still warm, but there was no sign of either man, and no sign of Kathleen. Sue searched frantically, but Kathleen simply vanished. 2 days later, on December 22nd, a hunter walking a remote trail in Wayne County stumbled onto something terrible. Down a snow-covered path, in the middle of the woods, lay a body of a young woman. She had been cuffed at the wrist and ankles. She had been struck with a sharp weapon 12 times. 4 of those wounds were fatal. There were no signs of struggle, no screams, just discolored snow and silence in the pines. The woman was identified as Kathleen Harbison. An autopsy revealed that she had undergone a violating assault. Wayne County authorities launched a manhunt. And then, just days later, came a confession. James Bellman cracked first. Under intense interrogation, he gave investigators a story both detailed and horrifying. And according to Bellman, he and Michael had taken Kathleen from the parking lot. They drove her to Michael's trailer in Pike County. There, Michael allegedly forced her to perform violating acts. He had James cuff her, and then declared that she couldn't be let go. James said that he drove her to the wooded area, that Michael used the sharp weapon against her, that afterward they threw the weapon and cuffs into icy waters under Ledgedale Bridge. James Bellman struck a deal. He would testify against Michael Conforti in exchange for avoiding death penalty, and key details in his story held up. Police recovered the weapon and cuffs from Ledgedale Bridge. Kathleen's glasses and ring were found near Michael's trailer. Witnesses had seen James' car parked near Cousin's bar that night, and so prosecutors built their case. Michael Conforti went on trial in 1991. He denied everything. He claimed Bellman was the real unaliver, that his role was fabricated to shift the blame. But the jury didn't buy it. Bellman's testimony, cold, graphic, disturbing, became the centerpiece of the prosecution's case. And with the physical evidence to back up parts of it, the verdict was swift. Conforti was convicted on all counts: first-degree unaliving, non-consensual acts, and kidnapping. He was given the ultimate sentence. Bellman was given life in prison. Years later, he would pass away by his own admission while in custody, and for a time, it seemed the woods had gone quiet. But they weren't finished whispering. In 2021, over 3 decades after Kathleen's unaliving, Conforti's legal team uncovered something stunning. A mental health evaluation from 1980, nearly a decade before the unaliving, revealed that James Bellman had been diagnosed as a sociopath. The prosecution had access to this report during the original trial, but it was never turned over to the defense. That's a direct violation of the Brady Rule, a constitutional requirement that prosecutors disclose any evidence that might help the defense. And this wasn't a minor oversight. Bellman's testimony was the backbone of the state's case. If jurors had known about his psychological instability, his credibility, and the entire prosecution might have collapsed. In October of 2023, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled that Conforti's trial was unfair. His convictions were vacated. He was removed from D. Row and transferred to Wayne County Correctional Facility, pending further proceedings. To this day, Michael Conforti maintains his innocence. Wayne County is still quiet. The pines still whisper. And what happened to Kathleen Harbison, while known in part, remains tangled in questions of truth, trauma, and time. Was justice served? Or is the real story just buried beneath the snow? So here's the question. Was justice served? Or is the real story still buried beneath the snow?